StrayAllDay.com.
DreAllDay.com, WorkOnYourGame.com. Today's daily motivation is called Give It a Year. It's a very simple concept. Anytime that you are, actually, let me back up. First of all, I'm a person who has always been a big advocate of doing things with speed. And that means executing with speed, making decisions with speed, implementing with speed, and also the swift sword, knowing that we need to get rid of things and deciding very quickly how, when, or if we need to get rid of something. So why would I be saying give it a year? Because a year is not really, in a general sense, a year is usually not a short period of time. It's actually a pretty long period of time. We don't want to let a whole year go by with something that we should have got rid of 6 months ago and the whole year went by, or 6 days and a year goes by. So why am I saying give it a year? So I'm talking about give it a year when it comes to anything that you may need to put a certain amount of time into to see whether it's worth it or not. You can't always do that. Now there are certain things like, let's say I'm running an ad campaign, or I put a product out for sale and announce it to my audience. So I run an ad campaign. I'm spending money to draw attention from whoever I'm getting the attention from. All of those things I can decide pretty quickly. I can decide within like 48 hours. All right, is this going to work or is this not going to work? Is this the right thing? Is it not the right thing? And I can cut it off if it needs to be cut off. Those you need to have a swift sword and get rid of quickly. But there are other things in life where you need to give it more time and put some effort into it. And you got to develop some ability. You have to learn a little bit before you can say this works or this doesn't work. For example, if you decide that you're going to be a writer, you decide you're going to be a writer, and every day you're gonna blog, or you're gonna blog once a week, or 3 times a week, or every day, whatever the process is going to be. You can't decide after 3 days, or I'm not going to be a blogger anymore because my blog isn't going viral. You can't decide after 2 days, or I'm not going to keep posting these type of Instagram posts because I'm not getting more followers and more likes. You can't decide that quickly because you haven't given it enough time to marinate. So there are certain things that you got to give it time to marinate before you can make a decision on it. If you're gonna, let's say you had a child and your child wants to play a sport, the child wants to get on the soccer team. They're not sure they want to play soccer or not, or they say they want to play soccer, but then 3 weeks into the soccer season, maybe it's not going so well. They want to quit soccer. I've heard a lot of parents say something like, well, in that case, I tell my kid, look, you got to finish out the season. You want to quit after the season, quit after the season, but you got to give it a whole year. So anything that you're doing, there are some things that, again, you can have the swift sword and get rid of it immediately. And there are some things where you got to give it more time. And let's give this a whole year of effort, dedicated effort, before I decide if I'm going to keep up with this or I'm going to drop this. If you're launching a podcast, for example, you might not be able to tell in a week if your podcast is a good idea or not, because people might not even know that you exist yet. But after a year, now some of the right people may know that you exist. You'll see if you're getting momentum. If you like doing it, then you can either keep it up or you can get rid of it. But there are some things in life, folks, where you need to give it enough time. And this is not just about the response you're getting from the public, not always about what everybody else says or doesn't say. It's also about you. There are some things in life that you got to give it enough of an effort before you know whether this is a good thing or a not good thing. And you can't decide that in a week. You got to put a year's worth of effort into it before you know if it's a thing for you or not. And you might not even be getting that much response from the public after a year, but you feel so good about what you're doing that you stick with it anyway. I'll give you a personal example. My background is in basketball. My first year in basketball, I was not good. I wasn't really good my first 2 or 3 years in basketball, but I started to get good by around that third year, or at least I started to feel like I was good. I didn't actually have results yet. I didn't really get results till like year 4 or 5 of playing basketball. And I started pretty late. I was age like 14 when I started playing. So I didn't really start to get tangible results that somebody could see. So I was like 17, 18, 19 years of age. So most people would have looked at me and said, give it up years before that. But I stuck with it because I could feel that there was some progress happening. So this is not always a science, it's sometimes an art. So it's not always a science, meaning you can't just look at some black and white numbers or stats and say, all right, well, you don't have these numbers, that means you should quit. Sometimes it's just the art of the feel of it. Like, hey, I feel that I should keep going with this thing. And how do you know whether your feel is going to be the right thing or not? The answer is you don't know. You don't know till you get to the end of the story whether it was a good idea or not. I ended up making it as a basketball player, so it ended up being a good idea for me. There are other people who might have had the same thought as me, the same feeling, but they didn't go anywhere in basketball, so it ended up not working for them. Doesn't mean they were necessarily wrong, but it just didn't work out for them. So sometimes in life, you will not know till you get to the end of the story. And I'm just trying to give you a framework for how you make these decisions and make sure you're not quitting something too soon. And also make sure you're not holding on to things for too long. So with all that said, That's just today's daily discipline. Make sure you text me so you're in my text community. I send out a message every day called the Daily Motivation. If you want to get in my community, it's completely free. We also send out a Monday motivation every week, which is a little bit longer message to get you started for the week. My number is 305-384-6894. It's down below in the description. Also, workonyourgameuniversity.com. If any of you like to be coached by me directly or work with me directly, there's only one place I do it. It's at the university. So go to that link. It's also down in the description, workonyourgameuniversity.com. I'll see you inside. Work on your game. Dre all day.